a democratic republic of sports. The Sportsocracy with ESPN Asheville hosts Tank Spencer and Jeremy Greene.
Welcome into the Sportsocracy. It is a very rainy Tuesday morning here in the mountains of western North Carolina. We are live in the Wicked Weed studio, wickedweedbrewing.com. Drink different. I'm Tank Spencer. To my left here, Mr. Ron George, filling in for the birthday ginger. Hashtag birthday ginger. And, of course, I'll leave the thing on. Yeah, I don't have Jeremy here to remind me every day. It's like, today's like drinking from a fire hose. It's hard to keep up, and we're gonna do our best to hit all the high points here.
Yep.
NFL free agency busted onto the scene yesterday afternoon with the Matthew Judon signing to the New England Patriots. And from there, the New England Patriots day went downhill.
Yeah.
It was Jonnu Smith, Matthew Judon, and then a whole bunch of shit after that. To me, it was a very mixed day for the New England Patriots. However, I do believe that they are getting better for whatever that's worth. The New England Patriots very busy yesterday. The Jets are making some moves. Jeremy would be very happy, or should be very happy about his new wide receiver. Corey Davis coming to town is a BFD. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers continue their cap magic.
Doing some gymnastics. They, what's his name? Bruce Arians was not kidding when he said, "We're bringing your ass back." He's literally bringing everyone back.
We all thought he was drunk. Jeremy made fun of him, going, "You're going to lose half your team." Somehow they figured out how to bring everybody back. Rob Gronkowski, Shaquille Barrett, Devontae David, and Chris Godwin's back on the franchise tag. I mean, it helps when you got a quarterback that's willing to kick money down the road.
It doesn't hurt. It does not hurt.
So, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, to me, I mean, call me Mr. Homer, but they're killing this thing.
Yeah, I don't think you have to be a homer to see that. I think they needed a whole year to begin with last year. The fact they won the Super Bowl last year was incredible. Give one more year under that belt with the exact same team is almost not fair.
Right. We got edge rushers all on the move in the NFL. Everybody's jumping out, snatching those guys up left and right, and quarterbacks. We got two big quarterback signings that they're not big, they're not real splashy, but they might settle some problems for a couple of teams. So we're going to get into all of that here over the next hour with you. Also, March Madness is going on, or getting ready to kick off on Thursday, but now is the time to do the brackets. And if you haven't joined the Sportsocracy bracket game, do that. The link to the game is in the description of this video. The password to the group, MulletMagic. If you got the Tournament Challenge app on the ESPN Tournament Challenge app on your phone, all you got to do is go in and join. Click Join Group, search the Sportsocracy, and the password is MulletMagic. So join in on the fun with all of us. Yes, I entered my completely wrong bracket yesterday. I think the only thing that I have changed on my bracket, though, is that I have convinced myself now that Ohio is going to beat Virginia in the first round.
I think I had that exact same one.
And then I have also backed off of carrying Michigan too far. I am very concerned about the injury to Isaiah Livers, and if he can't play, that team's not the same. So I think now I have Florida State beating Michigan in the
I like that.
Yeah. Well, of course, Mr. Seminole over here loves that.
I don't have that in my bracket, but I like that.
Get all your picks in, and the tournament kicks off on Thursday, so you need to get your picks in before then. Again, the link of the game is in the description of this video. Again, the password is MulletMagic. Free agency, like I said, has been like drinking from a fire hose. We're trying to keep track of everything that's been going on, but all in all, I'm going to say yesterday was a win for the New England Patriots. Am I wrong is my question.
I think they added pieces that were beneficiary to that team. I think I just think he spent too much money. Like, I'm looking at these deals and I'm just confused.
Well, you got Matthew Judon coming on a 4-year, $56 million deal. You got Jonnu Smith, 4 years, $50 million, 31.25 guaranteed.
But you pay Nelson Aguilar 2 years, $26 million, and Cam Newton's your quarterback.
Yeah. See, after that, that's where the day started going off the rails. You had me at Matthew Judon and Jonnu Smith, and then you pull out Jalen Mills. Actually, wasn't a bad one. When I saw the Jalen Mills 4-year, $24 million deal. Okay, that's fine. He's a dude. I don't think he's a superstar safety or anything, but he's a good, solid piece.
He is an NFL player.
Yeah, exactly. He fills slot basically, and this is what you have to do. And this is what Bill Belichick has done for so long. Is just fill slot, and Jeremy would say that's his biggest downfall. Is that he thinks that because he's coaching, he can fill anybody in those positions, and sometimes the team's just not that good. Okay, we get it. But I feel like yesterday started off really well. And then Nelson Aguilar signs for 2 years, $26 million. About the same time that news came out, it came out that Yannick Ngakoue had gotten a 2-year, $26 million deal from the Las Vegas Raiders.
Raiders are my favorite team. Like if the Raiders get a quarterback, and I told Jeremy this the other day, if the Raiders get somehow Russell Wilson, they're my favorite to go to the Super Bowl next year.
Really?
They are putting together a stacked team. Yannick Ngakoue they got for a steal. I liked them a lot last year in general. If they get another piece at quarterback, because I don't think Derek Carr is the leader they want. He's a great quarterback, but he's not a leader. You get Russell Wilson in there, they're my favorite in the AFC.
But I don't see that happening, though, do you?
I don't.
You think Russell Wilson's going to move?
I don't. If he's not going to move this year, he's going to move next year. He's just caused too much tension in that organization.
Okay. I can get down with that. I don't think there's any chance of him moving this year, but that's just me.
It would make no sense against the cap, but you're seeing this a lot in NFL teams where if there's so much tension, they just don't want you in that organization.
But I think the Vegas Raiders are settled on Derek Carr. I think John Gruden believes in Derek Carr.
I don't.
I mean, he was a very efficient quarterback this past year.
He's
not the greatest.
There's too much talk about another quarterback for me to think that they're sold on Derek Carr. I could be wrong.
They need another wide receiver. I mean, they're going to lose. They have lost Nelson Aguilar now. Now Nelson Aguilar is going to be in New England, which we'll get into that in a second. But I think they need another wide receiver. But you're not too far off.
Yeah.
On the Las Vegas Raiders, almost called them the Oakland Raiders. Nelson Aguilar and Cam Newton. What? What? How? I don't think this is going to work well. You've got a terribly inaccurate quarterback with a guy who had drop issues from hell. I mean, he had to sign a 1-year, I think it was a $1.25 million to $1.75 million deal this past year with the Raiders just to prove that he could still hack it in this league. And he did. He played really well. He didn't have as many drops last year, but you're going to put him up with Cam Newton?
Yeah, it's a disaster week now.
I don't like this at all. And so here again, Bill has gotten so used to having Tom around that he hasn't had to have major wide receivers. He hasn't had to have superstar wide receivers. If you're going to have Cam Newton as your quarterback, you got to have superstar wide receivers. Somebody that can go get the ball. Nelson Aguilar's fast, but he ain't that fast. And I don't feel like he's got a catch radius, as they say in the scouting game.
No.
That'll be able to pair him well with Cam Newton, who constantly throws over and behind and in front of guys.
Corey Davis would have been a good spot for the Patriots. That would have made more sense.
But why? But here's the thing: there's no superstar wide receiver that wants to play with Cam Newton. That's their problem. With having Cam Newton on the team, you're not going to get those guys.
You pay that much for Nelson Aguilar.
But we got Kendrick Bourne. Kendrick Bourne comes 3 years, $22.5 million.
I didn't even knew this.
That's overpaying him by $22 million.
I didn't even know this dude was a guy in the league. I had no idea.
Oh no, we kid Kendrick Bourne, but I mean he was that little guy for the San Francisco 49ers that might have, a good catch or two in a game.
He had 2 touchdowns last year.
Yeah, he was the 4th wide receiver on a team that was decimated by injuries.
Yeah.
Yay. So now you have N'Keal Harry, you have Kendrick Bourne, and you have Nelson Aguilar for Cam Newton to throw to. I mean, to be fair, this is very similar to the teams that he's played with before. Think about the teams that he had in Carolina.
Yeah.
He didn't have any receivers there either. And what did he have? A superstar tight end. So, congratulations.
Got Johnny Smith.
The New England Patriots. I mean, think about those Carolina Panthers years. They were 7-9 most of the time.
Remember that time?
At least half the time.
Remember that one time Johnny Smith had a career? That was
No,
cool.
wait a minute. Johnny, what you don't think this is going to work? I think this is going to be fine. I think Johnny Smith will be one of the best tight ends in the league next year, because Cam did make Greg Olsen one of the best tight ends in the league.
Yeah, 10 years ago.
Sure.
I don't know.
I mean, you think Cam's just completely washed up?
I do. I think he's a backup quarterback and not the best backup quarterback there is. I do. I think.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of someone I can compare to. I was about to say
Right.
Tyrod Taylor, but Tyrod Taylor's better. And I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah, Matthew Hoffman in the comments says, put those 3 players with Drew Brees and they would excel. Exactly. That's exactly my point. You put them together with a superstar quarterback, that's fine. But if you're going to have a mediocre quarterback, you need to have superstar wide receivers to make that work. And it's not going to happen.
Bill Belichick keeps forgetting he doesn't have Tom Brady. He has a Cam Newton. Tom Brady could deal with those kind of players that just made him shine, like Julian Edelman, Wes Welker type players that are good wide receivers but not great.
Yeah.
You don't have that in Cam Newton. You don't. You're going to need help, like how Ravens have a lot of help at wide receivers, because Lamar Jackson needs that help. Mm-hmm. You can't put mediocre to less talented wide receivers and expect that same production from a Cam Newton level quarterback.
Right. The Patriots also went down, and they're rebuilding the defense. Devon Godshaw and Dietrich Wise Jr. and Henry Anderson. Okay. Yeah.
Jeremy says Jonnu is taking the money and running. Good for him, because he won't be doing that with the ball very often. Very true. That's what I'm saying. I think his career, he's going to be an okay tight end. He's not going to be what he was in Tennessee.
Okay. All right. I will agree to disagree. Because I think Jonnu is going to be fine. But that's the only part of this offense is going to be fine.
I don't think he's going to be bad. I just don't think he's going to be what he was in Tennessee.
Yeah, I think he's still a top 5 tight end in the league.
We'll see.
No question. You also got to think how thin tight end gets.
Yeah.
For fantasy purposes, obviously, I like Jonnu Smith moving forward. On the football field, it's not going to translate to wins, I don't think. I still see this. Yeah, you guys are spending a lot of money. You're very, very active. But all in all, I don't see this producing many more wins. I can't see this producing 2-3 more wins to get them into the playoffs.
Johnny?
Yeah.
No.
The moves that the New England Patriots have made. Is this a 3-game improvement to put them in playoff contention?
With all the signings?
Yeah, with Matthew Judon, Jonnu Smith.
Matthew Judon's going to be a Jimmy Graham. You know how Jimmy Graham declined so far when he traded?
Yeah.
Jonnu Smith is a Jimmy Graham, in my opinion. The other signings is going to help the defense, but it doesn't matter if you can't score points. All these, I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it.
You don't get what?
any of these moves. Like, it's like Bill Belichick went into Dollar General and had $100. Everyone's like, ooh, let's buy these toys because it's better than Toys R Us, and spent way too much on it. Mm-hmm. I don't think he's done anything. He's gotten dudes, but he could have done so much better. I think losing Joe Thuney was a mistake. I think they could have done a lot more. They're getting a lot of hype because they're spending money. I don't think they're spending it the right way.
I would agree with you on that.
Yeah.
Speaking of spending money the right way, let's talk about the Gingers' New York Jets. The Jets have signed Corey Davis and Carl Lawson. Carl Lawson comes off with a 3-year, $45 million deal. And what was the figure on Corey Davis? 3 years, $37.5 million. Where do you, I mean, obviously this is one of their big check marks, or two of their big check marks in this offseason. Corey Davis at the wide receiver position. I think this is great. I just want to know. I want to know the plan. I'm sick of sitting around waiting to know what the plan at quarterback is going to be. I'm pretty convinced, Jeremy's got me pretty convinced that it's staying at number 2 and taking Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
Trading Sam Darnold somewhere, but I don't know. Are those windows closing? You still got the Carolina Panthers that would be in the hunt for that.
Yeah.
But I've heard nothing legitimate about those talks are actually taking place.
Right. Yeah, I like this signing a whole lot. I think Corey Davis is a great addition to the wide receiver room. I think what they paid for him, they got a deal. He's getting paid pretty much the exact same as Nelson Aguilar, which blows my mind because he's such a better wide receiver.
Right.
Honestly, it's kind of surprising how little moves the Jets and the Jaguars haven't done anything, and they have so much money. It blows my mind.
Yeah, we're going to talk about them in a second.
Yeah, I think that's a great signing. I think him with Jamison Crowder and Denzel Mims, I think it's going to be a good wide receiver room.
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping they'd get someone bigger, but there was a lot of people re-signed. I think Chris Godwin would have been amazing here. Thankfully, he's a good piece.
Yeah. I think this is the first blocks to fall, obviously. I mean, the Jets have money to spend, and they're going to be active throughout this free agency period. This team is only going to get better. And Carl Lawson, to me, with Robert Saleh making the calls, that guy's going to be ferocious in this New York Jets defense. Now, the question I have is they also added a middle linebacker. And Jeremy would be able to expound on this a little bit more. But Gerard Davis coming in, what does that mean for C.J. Mosley? Is C.J. Mosley going to be traded? Should they trade C.J. Mosley? He's got a big contract.
He does.
And it's going to be difficult to move. But this is another thing that they could use as a bargaining chip to either get, more assets, or they just keep them both.
Yeah, I know they're getting calls for C.J. Mosley. How productive was he last year? I don't even know.
I mean, he was hurt.
Yeah.
He was hurt last year.
Yeah. I don't think it's a bad move, trading C.J. Mosley.
Or did he opt out? I think he may have opted out.
He might have opted out. It's not a bad move. He's a name, so he could probably get something for him.
Right.
Include him in a package with Sam Darnold and get a whole bunch back, which would be nice for any Jet fan.
Right. So I think they started off well in the free agency period. For the Jets, obviously, they still have a decision to make at quarterback. With Sam Darnold, I mean, there are a number of there are a number of teams that could use his services. But again, I don't know if they're close to making a deal on that or not. I feel pretty certain that they will be.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned a team that has a lot of money.
Yep.
In the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Suspiciously quiet.
Suspiciously quiet? Do you think this is all part of a plan? They're just sitting back waiting to see where the dominoes fall?
Today is going to be
and then they're just going to make the major push in with what's left over?
Yeah, probably today is probably when it's going to happen. Well, I know it's going to be today. I'll keep looking on Twitter to see
Right.
like when he's going to sign someone big.
Well, I mean, he's doing that thing. He's doing that thing where college coaches, are scouting college players.
Yeah.
And he's brought in Carlos Hyde, former Ohio State Buckeye.
Oh no.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't hate that. I think he could be a decent. You're right. He'll be a decent spell piece to James Robinson.
Armstead comes back.
Mm-hmm. Reichwell Armstead.
Yeah.
Is he still a thing?
Is
Reichwell Armstead still doing stuff?
He was hurt last year, so he's coming back.
He's like I don't know who Reichwell Armstead is. Philip Dorsett. They signed Philip Dorsett to the Jacksonville Jaguars.
That's a wide receiver.
Yeah. See, that was the
he
reaction
plays
I had
football.
as well. Like,
He played.
okay, all right. Again, you set the tone on this offseason with the Cam Robinson franchise
I know,
tag.
yeah.
And now everything you do is just going to be raked over the coals because you're doing nothing to really improve this team drastically.
That front office is interesting.
Yeah, it is. It's got guys, and they're doing stuff, and I'm sure it'll get spicier as things go along. Maybe they're just, biding their time, waiting to see how things shake out. Make sure you don't overpay.
Yeah.
Because you got so many holes to fill. Yeah, but you're not sending us yet. We're not getting this Philip Dorsett, Carlos Hyde, Dwayne Smoot, Trey Herndon. I mean, they've signed like 9 guys, and you've never heard of any of them.
I had a feeling they'd be signing Hunter Henry.
I would be surprised if Jeremy knew who all of the guys were. That's how bad this Jacksonville thing has started out. Or I guess not bad, just slow.
It's just slow. I
Slow.
don't.
You're taking the slow roll
There's
here.
no way they can screw this up as bad as Bill Belichick did with all the money they have. I mean, they could, but I mean, they'll probably sign someone like Hunter Henry. They'll probably get someone like Curtis Samuel. They'll get a couple pieces. They can't not. I don't.
Right. Yeah. They have to. I mean, I think they have to at least get one more wide receiver. But the defensive side of the ball, I think, needs some upgrades. They've got
They'll
some
probably
pieces
get Curtis
there,
Samuel and Juju by the end of the day.
Curtis Samuel and Juju,
Or Juju.
Oh, or
one
Juju.
One or the other.
I was like, I don't know that there's enough for 2. I mean, Trevor Lawrence would be more than happy, I'm sure, to have targets like that to start out his NFL career. You got to make him feel good somehow.
I think Juju's going to Miami anyway, so it wouldn't surprise me if Curtis Samuel ends up in Jacksonville.
Right. You got, let's see, what are the latest moves? Oh, yeah. Let's talk quarterbacks. You got the Washington football team has signed Ryan Fitzpatrick to a 1-year deal worth $10 million. Wow. He's got $2 million of incentives that he can reach as well. So, is this it? Is this what we're gonna do?
What Washington's doing?
Or is Washington gonna try to make a play for a young quarterback?
They said it's going to be an open competition between him and Taylor Heineke. Oof. I mean, I like Fitzpatrick there. I think he's a great average quarterback. I think he's a great bridge gap quarterback. So does that show me that they're going to be signing for one? Are they going to be drafting for one? Possibly.
Yeah, this screams rookie to me.
This screams rookie. And
plain and simple.
Which
So
is a great signing if that's what they're going to do.
Right. I'm not going to disagree with you there. Taylor Heineke will be, I don't think they're bringing in Ryan Fitzpatrick. Maybe I'm reading it wrong. Actually, the more I think about it, maybe that is what they're doing. Maybe Ron Rivera believes in Taylor Heineke so much that he's bringing Ryan Fitzpatrick in to try to groom him to be the. Can this possibly be? Am I drunk?
This happens all the time. First of all, Taylor Heineke looked good because Tampa is religiously bad against rookie quarterbacks because there's no tape on him. So that's just common. And then once you get tape on Taylor Heineke, he's not that special.
No.
So I think he's being way overvalued. I think They need I think they're going to draft a quarterback. I think Ron Rivera is too smart for that. I think he's a great backup quarterback. Heinicke.
Oh yeah, I think he's fine. I mean, he proved that he's fine. I mean, when he was in Carolina, he was, he filled in for a couple of games and wasn't great, but he made some plays.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, I don't know. I don't have his stats pulled up here, but I seem to remember some pretty stupid decisions that he made. But he's good for a splashy play every now and then. They had a couple of goal line plays where he ran it in.
Heinicke, he reminds me of Taysom Hill.
Kinda.
Like a Walmart Taysom Hill.
Kinda. Like one you got on Wish.
Yeah.
I don't think that. I think maybe they think they can get a quarterback in the second round of the draft.
Oof. Maybe.
Or would they overdraft somebody at what they're at 16?
It's at 18 or 19, I think it is.
Somewhere in there.
Kind of screams Trask to me.
Kyle Trask?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking, but to me that's early. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because if you believe all of the prognosticators that are smarter than us, the major quarterbacks are going to be gone by that point. And at that point, you are going to have to overdraft or trade down and hope you gauge that correctly to get your guy. I don't know if they have to take Kyle Trask in the first round.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a team at the back end of the draft that would nab Kyle Trask from them? Will they be pressured into making a dumb move? Or is this a team that can trade up?
They could trade up.
Trade up from the top half of the second or the middle of the second up to the bottom of the first round to be able to get Kyle Trask. I don't know.
Well,
I have a hard time believing that they're done.
no, I could see them trading up to get someone like Mac Jones, especially if the Panthers were they're going to trade pick for Darnold. I don't know. I just can't see. I see people saying believe in Heinicke. Jeremy saying they believe in Heinicke. They could, I guess. I just don't have as much faith in Heinicke than maybe that organization does.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm looking at this like, how do I trade up to get a quarterback? I have Fitzpatrick. That's a good bridge gap. Who do I get in the draft?
Mm-hmm. Apparently Jeremy says that wouldn't be too early for the draft for Trask.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He says they also believe in Heinicke, so.
Oh, I know. I know they believe in Taylor Heinicke, and that's why I started as I started going down the path thinking, well, maybe this is what Ron Rivera actually believes that Taylor Heinicke can be a serviceable quarterback for the next 3 or 4 years until you do find the
I'm
perfect
starting to
scenario.
not have faith in Ron Rivera because he believed in Kyle Allen too.
Now, wait a minute. Because he believed in Kyle Allen?
I don't know. He's very much a homer. Very much a.
Well, he's a character guy, and when he finds a guy that he can mesh with, he's gonna stick to that guy. He's that type of guy.
That's a homer.
Well, but it has nothing to do with when you say homer. I think, just because they were on my team in Carolina.
No, just because he's worked with them, he's like drunk on them.
Could be. But his instincts haven't been all that wrong so far.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Now he's, when he came into the league, he had Cam Newton. Or when he came to Carolina, he came with Cam Newton. And they've been tied to that. And now, I don't know, man. Now he's seeing, I don't have to have the greatest quarterback to be successful.
Yeah.
We were in a shitty division this year. We're a very young team. We got a lot of things going for us. Maybe, we don't have to go out and be splashy. We don't have to go out and trade for Sam Darnold. We don't have to go out and trade for Russell Wilson and force some kind of a move. We can just do this. Play good, solid football. We'll be character guys,
Yeah.
And we'll get after it on the football field. And that's kind of how he wants to build this or rebuild this entire franchise from being, the dreg of the NFL.
Yeah.
He's got to save them somehow. And, it's this whole chopping wood kind of mentality. It's worked. It's worked for Ron Rivera.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't always work.
No.
It doesn't always work for a ninja. I mean, he's never had back-to-back winning seasons. So strap in for that, Washington football team fans.
Yeah.
This is a guy who in Carolina, right? I'm just saying, they got into the playoffs with a losing record. He did the same thing with the Carolina Panthers. I mean, they'll have a winning record this year, but wait for next year. Ron Rivera hasn't been able to string together winning seasons, and maybe that was just a Carolina thing. Maybe that was a David Gettleman thing, a Marty Herney thing. I don't know. I don't know if it's, but I feel like Ron Rivera can be successful in this league.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just because he gets these guys who he believes in and believes that he can develop doesn't necessarily mean he's wrong.
Right.
It's just a different strokes for different folks.
Yeah.
We don't have to, sell out at quarterback if we don't see it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think them sticking with Taylor Heineke, and because now I've convinced myself.
Yeah.
Now I've convinced myself that that's what this move is. He wants Ryan Fitzpatrick to groom Taylor Heineke, who's already, a stand-up guy, to be a pro.
Yeah.
Pick up some tips, learn to be serviceable. There's too much focus in the fantasy football world of today. Here's me, the fantasy football guy, talking about too much of this fantasy footballification of they're just good dudes in the NFL. And they don't have to be splashy. There's a place for them somewhere. Mm-hmm. I mean, Ryan Fitzpatrick is a guy that fits that mold for me now. I mean, he can be splashy every now and then. I mean, when he was in Tampa Bay, he was the best damn quarterback in the league for the first 4 games of the season.
Yeah.
And then he went back to being Ryan Fitzpatrick. But he's always going to be that solid guy, and that's what they're looking for in Taylor Heineke. So I guess it wouldn't be the move that I would choose to do, but bringing in Ryan Fitzpatrick definitely helps out your franchise.
Absolutely. And he's a great person in the locker room, which I think is going to help that organization.
Right. Speaking of great people in the locker room, heard somebody say that about Jameis Winston yesterday, and I went, is he though?
I don't know how much.
I mean, I guess in a schoolyard, playful kind of way. He's not the team leader and put him on his back and rally the troops. I mean, eating dubs on the sideline.
You know, when you're
really,
in middle school and you read those motivational books,
Yeah.
and it's like, oh, you can do it. Like, you got this, buddy. Like, do that, man. That's what Jameis Winston in the locker room is. He's like, you know what, buddy? If you just believe in your dreams, you can do it. Eat that W. I've seen it. So he's not a true leader. He tries. I give it that to him. He tries. He just doesn't got it.
I think he's got the starting job in New Orleans, though. I think he does.
Cool.
This is the path forward. 1-year deal.
I called it too.
Yeah, worth up to $12 million. An incentive-laden contract.
Just like Cam Newton.
Yep.
Exactly like Cam Newton.
Yep. And he's going to get his shot to prove it.
Yep.
Because they saw last year Taylor Heineke, that didn't work. We can't.
Yeah.
We can't rely on this tight end to play our quarterback.
Taysom Hill.
Huh?
Taysom Hill.
Yeah, Taysom Hill. He's a tight end.
Yeah.
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 He's a tight end gadget guy.
Yep.
And that's all he's ever going to be. He's not a guy that you want out there starting for your team.
No.
You want to bring him in on some trick plays and stuff like that.
And he'd be very succleted.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Run some
Sean Payton does that well.
Jet sweep, wide out throws to the quarterback or some bullshit like that, sure. Wildcat formations, fine.
Yeah.
That's good. But we can't do this all the time.
No.
Yeah.
And that was at the end of the game, at the end of the Tampa game when Jameis Winston came in. I think that was a waking up moment for some people, going, see, he still got it. He may not be perfect all the time, but he's still pretty good. This is the guy that threw for 5,000 yards and 30 interceptions. We understand.
Yeah.
We lived through it. So you're not telling
Painfully.
us anything that we don't know about Jameis Winston.
Yeah.
But it's the knucklehead stuff off the field. I mean, granted, the last thing was with the Uber driver, and that
Yeah.
was 3-4 years ago.
4 years ago.
So it's been a while. I mean, he's done some growing up. Maybe he's done some maturing.
Yeah.
He had the LASIK surgery, so now he can see the difference between the defense and the offense, hopefully.
I don't know. He will be throwing to Tampa Bay players again next year, is all I'm saying. And I'm here for it. It's about time.
With Tom Brady, with Drew Brees retiring over the weekend, we knew, didn't we? Didn't we all know in our heart of hearts that this was what was going to happen?
Yep.
They were going to re-sign Jameis Winston.
I had no doubt in my mind.
He was going to be the starter. And I get it. It's going to be a competition with him and Taysom Hill. It's not a competition. No. I feel the same way about this offseason as I felt last offseason about the Cam Newton, Jarrett Stidham, Brian Hoyer camp battle. It's not a battle. It's Cam Newton, and it's not even close.
Yeah, they come out with the Taysom Hill extension. Everyone's like, oh, for sure, it's going to be Taysom Hill. And for once, I was like, no.
Well, because apparently nobody or a lot of people didn't look into that deal. Oh, they believe a lot. They're paying him $140 million over 4 years. No, they're not.
Well, when I first read it, I spit my drink out because I was like,
Of course you would.
yeah.
I think everybody did. I didn't, when I initially heard about the deal, I went, that can't be right. That's fake. Somebody got caught by one of these bots.
Yep.
One of these, no blue check, one letter off Adam Scheftel or something.
Yep.
Tweeted this out and somebody picked it up and none of it, it's not real. That's what I initially thought.
Brian says there's something to be said about learning from Sean Payton. Yeah, but the Tampa Bay Buccaneers got him 3 different coaches because they thought it was the coach's fault. I don't think Sean Payton can teach him anything because it's all mental. He has the capability. He doesn't have the decision making, and I don't think any coach can teach you that.
Yeah.
He has the ability. He has all the ability in the world. It's the way he chooses what to do, and you can't coach that. You can. He's just,
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Because you can't coach instincts.
No.
Instincts are something completely different.
They're learned, not taught. Yep.
Right, exactly. And Jameis Winston, to me, has never seemed like a guy who studies a lot. How about that?
Yeah.
And again, he's not a. This isn't a 4-year thing. This is a
1 year.
This is another
deal.
1 year prove it thing. Prove that you can still be a good quarterback in this league. I think a lot of people are so sick of Jameis Winston and hearing about Jameis Winston that they don't realize that he's still just 27 years old. He's still got a lot of growing up to do.
Yep.
Taysom Hill is 5 years older than he is.
Really?
I think he's 4 years older. I think Taysom Hill's 31. I'm pretty sure that's right.
Oh, I know, that's crazy.
So, yeah, just keep that in mind. But they continue to try to make this work. They're $12 million over the cap as it sits right now, according to Over the Cap anyway.
Yeah.
So they've still got some moves to make to get cap compliant before the year starts. The deals are going to keep rolling off here, and I saw somebody tweeted out that Drew Rosenhaus in a span of like a day did, what was it, $250 million worth of contracts yesterday.
Oh my God.
That dude's rolling in the dough.
Yes, he is.
But he's connected with every big client because he's the guy that gets the deals done.
Yep.
And I don't know. I can't. We'll never see that amount of money in our lifetimes. And to imagine that one guy negotiated that much in a day is kind of crazy. Our Tampa Bay Buccaneers continue to hit things out of the park. Shaq Barrett, he's coming back. 4-year, $72 million contract.
Yep.
Did you see his cap number for this year?
5.5 million. Is it lower?
That wasn't what I heard. The initial story on it was that it was $1.25 million.
How? How are they doing this?
I don't know. Well, with the signing bonus, when you
Gotcha.
take into account the bonus money, it ends up being closer to 6.
Okay, so that's.
But like the
what it was,
base salary for the year was like $1.25 million. And this is the cap magic that we keep talking about.
It's kicking the can down. 2 years,
Absolutely.
we're gonna be
Absolutely
bad.
And I'm fine with it.
Bad.
I'm completely fine with it.
You see the rumor this morning that Leonard Fournette is weighing in offers from Tampa and a strong bid from Seattle.
A strong bid.
That's what it says. Apparently, Seattle's offering more money, but he's considering coming back to Tampa for another title. The fact that he's thinking about that.
I didn't think it was possible.
I didn't think we'd get Fournette at all. Honestly, I didn't really care if we. I mean, it'd be cool to have him, but he's not on my priority list.
Well,
I want Sue. I just want
You just
Sue.
wanted Ndamukong Suh back.
I just want Ndamukong
You just
Suh
need
back.
him that bad?
I love that guy. He's my favorite part of the defense. Him and Vita Vea.
Really?
Yeah, if you watch tape and see when Vita Vea or Ndamukong Suh aren't playing, that defense takes a massive hit. Those two dudes they're dudes. Mm-hmm. I love Sue. I would rather Sue than no. I like Shaq Barrett, but Shaq Barrett numbers dip when they're out too. Like I love those guys.
Oh yeah. Well, they definitely add pressure up front. I mean, I'm not saying that they're, they're just not my favorite part.
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying, though.
Yeah.
Obviously, when all the defense is healthy, it's going to work better.
Right.
But Devin White is a beast.
He is a monster.
That guy's unbelievable. He's now my favorite Buccaneer.
Does he have another year
Here's
left?
the thing with now that everybody's back. I mean, your expectations, I guess they were already at Super Bowl or bust. You got Tom Brady, and you won it in the first year. But now I think anything less is going to be a disappointment.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you're returning the entire team that just
because we're not going to be good for the next couple of years.
That just dominated the Super Bowl over the Kansas City Chiefs. Shaq Barrett's coming back. Levante David, Rob Gronkowski, Chris Godwin's back. Everyone is back on this team. They're doing everything they can. Mm-hmm. Rob's getting another 1-year deal for $10 million. It was us or nobody. It was never not going to happen. Him and Tom Brady are inseparable at this point. Yep. And as long as we have Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski is going to be there.
My favorite thing was people saying, oh, Rob Gronkowski dipping his toes into free agency pool.
No, he's not.
No, he's not. No, he's not.
He's not going anywhere. He wants to be in Tampa Bay.
He retired before going to another team. He literally retired.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
He's not going nowhere.
No. But they continue to shift all the money around and somehow are going to make it work. And like I say, now it's all or nothing. You've damn sure made it sure that it's going to be a failure if you don't get back to the Super Bowl, 2, win the damn thing.
Yeah.
Lots of moves going on around here. The Panthers made some offensive line additions with Pat Elflein coming over from the Jets. So, and I think what's his name? His Cam Irving. Excuse me. Cam Irving came over as well for the Carolina Panthers. So they're kind of involved, Panther fans. But Corey Davis going to the Jets, I think, was one of the biggest moves of the day.
Yep.
And I would expect to see a lot more of that. Leonard Floyd going back to the Rams on a 4-year deal. I think that was a pretty big statement for them to be able to retain him, keep that pass rush up. That defense, I'm telling you, I still think that the Rams are not the worst team in their division.
Yeah.
I don't know where to rank them yet, but it's somewhere 1 through 3.
Somewhere in there.
Somewhere 1 through 3. I think I'm still on. I think I'm actually coming around to Jeremy's theory that the Seattle Seahawks are the worst team in this division.
I think they are.
And if they can't figure
Especially
something out,
if they can't figure out with Russell Wilson.
Oh, exactly. I mean, they got to smooth over this.
Even if they do figure something out, that team's not. They're dysfunctional. It's not. It's.
But I still think it's close.
Yeah.
I still think it's close between them and Arizona. But to me, the Rams are going to be definitely at the top of that division next year. It's going to be a dogfight between all 4 of those teams. But bringing back Leonard Floyd really, really helps this team. Were there any other signings that stuck out to you?
Not in particular. I think Cincinnati's having a sneakily good free agency. They got back who they get? Trey Hendrickson. Mm-hmm. I think that's a good move for the Bengals. I'm interested to see what they do today and tomorrow and in the draft, but I'm liking that team a little bit more today. That's the one team I look at, I'm like, oh, that's a good addition.
Yeah, with the Bengals.
Yeah, there's some signings I'm like, okay, well, I mean, yeah.
You had to make some kind of a move. You had to try to find somebody to fill that slot from Carl Lawson, who just wound up with the New York Jets.
Yep.
So Trey Hendrickson going there, yeah. That was the edge rusher movement of yesterday. Like I said, Matthew Judon, Bud Dupree has landed with the Tennessee Titans. We hadn't mentioned that one yet.
Yeah.
Which
they
is
always do
something.
Titans
finally, they're hoping that finally their search is over for a pass rush. Because last year they brought in Jadeveon Clowney and that didn't work.
Nope.
Now you get Bud Dupree, who to me is a market upgrade.
For sure.
Over Jadeveon Clowney, and I think he can be the real deal. Deal's going to pay him more than $16 million a year. I don't see, it doesn't say how many years his deal ended up being, but he's getting paid, and now he gets to go to another and frankly a better contender.
Yeah,
it just wasn't happening with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I think there's real concern.
It still blows
or should
my mind
be real
that
concern in the Steeler fan base.
Ben's coming back. I don't know why he just won't retire. That poor man.
That poor man is getting paid $18 million this year?
Yeah.
I think he's fine, and he's definitely not poor.
No. Yeah.
Von Miller staying with Denver.
Yeah, Von Miller staying with Denver.
Von Miller staying with Denver? I hadn't seen that yet.
Didn't he do something off field? Didn't he do something crazy off field? I thought he was going to be gone.
I don't believe so.
I thought he did something.
I remember him.
Something bad.
I never delved into it, but I do remember seeing his name in the headlines for something off the field. But Von Miller coming back to Denver,
cool.
You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yannick Ngakoue going to the Las Vegas Raiders. To me, that's
a great move,
right?
And for cheap. That was the best signing yesterday.
With him and Cleveland Farrell, that's going to be an incredible pass rush.
I'm telling you, those Raiders are going to be good next year.
I hope so. I hope this is the year that they finally are able to take the step because they haven't.
Be good.
They haven't been taking that step.
If they, man, the more I think about it, the more Russell Wilson there would be so good. I know it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen, bro. It's just not going to happen. Everybody is trying to pigeonhole Russell Wilson in everywhere.
That's the only place that I see that makes
happen.
sense, though. I see him in Seattle or Raiders. I don't. Him in Chicago makes no sense. Him with New Orleans makes no sense. Him not going to Dallas. That's the only spot, according to him, that I see him going. Seattle or Vegas. And I want him in Vegas so bad.
Okay. John Johnson has signed with the Cleveland Browns. And that is a big move for a playoff team who just bolstered their secondary.
Big time.
Big time. This makes them even better than they were on defense, I think. I think that's a team to be scared of in the AFC.
The Browns? Mm-hmm. Who's their quarterback?
I understand. You too? You too?
I've never liked Baker.
I don't like Baker Mayfield either. But he's like the zit on one of the hottest girls in school. I mean, you don't like it. It's kind of in the way, but you can enjoy the rest of it, right?
I guess. I guess.
You can enjoy the rest of the masterpiece and just overlook the fever blister. He's like, no, out. Nah, she got the hurt. I'm done.
Yeah, I'm good. He is the herp. That's a good.
Yeah. Baker Mayfield is the herpes of the Cleveland Browns. The one thing you want to do is make sure that it doesn't spread. And as long as you keep it contained to that one spot, you should be okay.
They might be better, but you know where they're going to be in January?
What's that?
At home with Baker Mayfield.
Oh, yeah. They will definitely be at home with Baker Mayfield. They have Super Bowl aspirations, and they'll never get there. And we all know why. And we can all just keep that. But in the meantime, we can appreciate the rest of it.
We can appreciate the new jerseys that come out. I'll appreciate that.
The new jerseys that come out? They have new jerseys?
Oh, no, that's the 49ers. They just came out with new jerseys. Never mind. Yeah, no.
I think it was the Browns, too. Honestly.
Maybe it was. I don't know.
I'm kind of surprised that L.A. was not able to figure something out with John Johnson to bring him back. If you're going to spend the money on Leonard Floyd, that's the only thing. That's the only thing I'm thinking here is I probably would have sided with John Johnson, but maybe that wasn't possible. Maybe they couldn't get a deal together. But if I had my choice between the two, I think I'd take John Johnson. Yeah. I mean, I realize Leonard Floyd is a good pass rusher that you don't want to let go. But John Johnson's one of the top safeties in the league. And I feel like when you find an impact player at that position, it's one of those check marks for me.
Yeah, it's just a lot of money.
Oh, that John Johnson got?
Yeah. No. Leonard Floyd.
Yeah.
4 years, $64 million deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's too much for me.
Right.
I thought Shaquille Barrett was too much. I wouldn't have paid that much for Shaquille Barrett.
Really? $72 million?
I thought that deal was too much. I'm glad he's back. I am. I think that deal was too much. But I feel like I am the only person that was less on him than everyone else. It's just me.
You're less on who?
Shaq Barrett. Like that money is too much.
Right, but it's. I'm having a hard time here. The money's too much for you with Shaq Barrett, but to me, I mean, has he not proven his worth over the last couple of years?
He has, but I think you keep the defensive end intact and draft someone like Kwity Paye or another edge rusher, and I would have been happy with that and use that money somewhere else. That's just me, though.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have kicked the can down the road with that. I would have used that money differently. Okay. But that's why I'm not a GM, and I'm sitting right here.
Agree to disagree. I feel like when you find that impact edge rusher, a guy that makes your defense, I mean, because he's the spark on that defense. There are three of them. There's one at every level. One is Shaq Barrett. One is Devin White.
Yep.
And the other one is Antoine Winfield.
Yep.
At this point.
I agree with that.
And so when you've got, to me, those guys are priorities. You want to keep them around as long as possible. As long as you can make the money work, I think he's worth $72 million.
Yeah.
Over 4 years, that's less than 20, which is what I thought he was going to go for, no less than $20 million a year average.
Yeah.
So I was I was actually happy. I kind of thought we got a break on that deal. Speaking of not getting breaks on a deal, the Kansas City Chiefs now have another top 5 paid player at their position.
Joe Thuney?
Joe Thuney. Joe Thuney, 5-year, $80 million deal. He's a great player, but again, they're smarter than I am in the cap office. How are you going to make this work? You've already been, you're already leveraged as much as you possibly can be. And we talk constantly about the big contracts that they have. Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill, Frank Clark. Who's the one I'm forgetting? The defensive tackle, Chris Jones. You got all those big contracts. Tyrann Mathieu, throw him in there. He's got a pretty sizable contract as well.
Yep.
And now you're going to pay 5-year, $80 million to Joe Thuney to come in.
Yep.
I mean, obviously,
I know you have to replace Eric Fisher.
something had to happen on that offensive line. I wasn't expecting this.
Yeah, me neither.
And again, I don't know how they're going to make this work. It's probably going to be another one of those, kick the can down the road kind of things. But
Eric Fisher's deal was half as much as
you got a lot
Joe
of money
Thuney, too.
coming up on the books. You can't really
I don't know what they're doing in that
kick
front
things
office.
down the road.
Yeah, they're just made of money.
They're magicians, man. Everybody's magicians. I think that's the superstar MVP employees of the month.
Yep.
This year for the NFL are going to be the guys in the cap office.
Yep.
Of having to shift all this money around to get everybody paid and work it out to how somehow we're going to pay this money.
They're really banking on this NFL deal. That's
Contract is less than $1 million.
Oh, and Patrick
the TV
Holt says
contract?
Thuney's a solid lineman, deserves everything, but I don't disagree
No.
with you. No, I 100% agree with you.
Yes.
I just didn't think he would end up in Kansas City with their money.
So the contract structure on this one is a one-year hit
So he's,
or $1 million hit this year?
He's getting $990,000 this year.
Thuney?
Yes, and then it's going to be, that's what it says on his contract.
Nice. Okay, I don't know. Again, look. I don't. The guys are going to get their money.
Yeah.
The money in the contract that's guaranteed. That's the money that you're signing for.
Yep.
And after the Taysom Hill deal, honestly, I feel like everybody knows the shell game that has to be played here. Mm-hmm. Everybody is under the understanding of we are slapped by the reduction in revenues. The salary cap has dropped so significantly. If you want to be competitive, we can be a good team. You're just going to have to wait for your money. Mm-hmm. We'll guarantee you contracts. We'll give you signing bonuses instead of roster bonuses, and we'll shift, and we'll figure out how to make this work. But, you may make $30 million 3 years from now.
Yep.
You're just kind of, you're living on that.
Hang in there.
Yeah. You're waiting for the big payday to come. Consider it a savings account.
Yep.
We're saving you from blowing all this money at once. We'll give you enough to live on right now, and then, you'll be able to buy the mansion 2 years from now. Or what?
Yep.
But that's kind of the game that you have to play right now.
I agree.
Yeah.
And I'm here for it. Because honestly, as much as the salary cap magic hurts my brain, I am so happy to just be talking about football.
Yeah.
It really is like the second season of the NFL. And yesterday was real fun. And I have a feeling today is going to be a
lot of fun too.
Just as fun. Keeping track of all the free agency that's going on. College basketball, we'll talk some of that this afternoon on the ESPN Asheville show. I'll be joined in the studio by Mr. Caleb Peak once again as Jeremy Greene continues on his vacation. Everybody, please reach out if you haven't already. Say happy birthday to the Big Ginger. Hashtag birthday ginger. Here in the Sportsocracy, I'm Tank Spencer. He's Ron George. We're live for the Wicked Weed studio, wickedweedbrewing.com. Drink different. Oh, and don't forget, sign up for the bracket game. We got the link in the description of this video. We are all in. If you go to the ESPN Tournament Challenge app, just search the Sportsocracy. It's the only one on there. I've already checked. And join the game. The password for the bracket game, MulletMagic. Make your picks, and of course we'll do live updates throughout the tournament right here on the program of who's doing well, and we're definitely going to make fun of the ones that really, really suck. Mine. Going to be right there. I guarantee you. 3 1s and a 2 in the Final Four. I did it wrong. I guarantee it. Join the bracket game again. Password is MulletMagic, the Sportsocracy group on the ESPN Tournament Challenge app. I'm Tank Spencer again. He's Ron George. We'll see you next time.